So there was a young man who was in possession. His last name's Hawkins. He was 18.
Yep.
This is the case that she presided over as a judge, and he was in possession and also distributed child porn. And so he was the one who got only a 3-month sentence from KBJ, even though the prosecution asked for a 2-year sentence. And he has since then, got out of prison, went back to watching and distributing child porn.
Yeah.
But actually, one of the in the reporting, one of the arguments for the defense of Hawkins was that he was from a religious home, and this was an expression of his repressed homosexuality.
Yes.
Was watching child porn.
So, the right, the left has long, criticized the right, saying, "Oh, homosexuality has nothing to do with pedophilia. How dare you say that?" And I do think those things are not connected. Like there's
Right.
not a strong connection there.
Right.
When you get into the total umbrella of LGBT and you talk about accepting all kinds of different sexualities, then you could start to see a bit of a connection there. But when it comes to someone just being gay, no, that is not a predictor of them being a pedophile whatsoever. That being said, that's the case that the lawyer made for this
Right.
kid, and it leaded to KBJ giving him a super light sentence. So
Exactly.
our leftists, is the left now promoting the idea that gays are pedophiles? Like that's literally the direction that they went in with her past ruling. It's insanity that this happened, and once the left catches wind of this, I'm very interested to see how they deal with it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they're just hoping for it to blow over and that no one will pick up on it.
Yeah.
Because that is a huge problem.
Yes.
To have to have the LGBT community and child porn walking hand in hand with each other. That is a huge problem.
She made that connection. It is not us making that connection. I mean, if anything, people like us have been very charitable.
Yeah.
To a lot of the gay rights movement. We're a Christian organization here at the Western Journal, so there are certain objections we have to certain things that the gay rights movement believes in. But that being said, we don't think they're pedophiles. But
Right.
apparently that's what KBJ thinks.
Yeah, she's like, well, they are connected.
Yeah.
But as she continued to tell Senator Josh Hawley
Yeah.
during the hearing, these cases kept coming up again and again, and she kept saying, well, I can't believe that my qualifications to be on the Supreme Court
Yes.
are being evaluated by these past cases. And I think everyone was kind of like, well,
Yep.
what else would we evaluate you by? You're a judge. That's like telling someone in a
Yes.
job interview, I don't know why you're evaluating me based on my resume. How dare you?
Yes, and they kept, Republicans kept hitting her on this. Like, you were really light on sentencing in all of these areas. We have another clip of basically an exchange she had with Lindsey Graham, where they're talking about, the types of sentencing that this 18-year-old Hawkins got for distributing so much child porn. So I think, we're going to pull
In comes the internet. On the internet, with one click, you can receive, you can distribute tens of thousands. You can be doing this for 15 minutes, and all of a sudden, you are looking at 30, 40, 50 years in prison.
Good. Good.
I understand.
Absolutely
Senator,
good. I hope you are.
To do
Good.
Allow her to finish, please.
I hope you go to jail for 50 years if you're on the internet trolling for images of children and sexual exploitation.
I mean, yeah. Just
Good.
Look at how passionately she was defending the idea that, well, if you just look at child porn, if you just kind of distribute it on a blog, why would you get 20, 30, 40, 50 years in jail?
Why?
Super passionate. She was super passionate about defending that position. I mean, that tells you ideologically where she's at, and that she's operating from a worldview that, we haven't seen in American politics for up until this point.
Right. And it's just concerning to think about her, defending that, but then also kind of the whole society that goes behind her, because, I mean, her thinking isn't original. It didn't just come out of the air. that is just starting to really condone porn.
Yes.
And even child porn. And, there's arguments out there that, child pornography does not mean, if you watch child porn, that does not mean that you're a pedophile.
Right.
That there's a distinct divide.
Doesn't mean you're
between
going to go out there and abuse children.
Right.
That's the argument that a lot of left-wing news outlets have been making when they've been fact-checking Josh Hawley. It's the argument that Reason magazine, a libertarian magazine, was making, and we'll talk about that article in a bit. But
Right. Which, it's technically true that
Yes.
if you watch child porn, that doesn't necessitate that you are going to go molest a child.
And statistically, those things aren't necessarily connected.
No,
That's
no,
true
they
in
are-
a lot of cases.
They are not. But does watching child porn make you an enabler of the child molestation industry?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, especially distributing it. But
Exactly.